Yeah, hello, good day. My name is Prince Yemi Kasali. Talking about our new strategy that we are copying on Pay Prime. I will be showing you things to be noted when copying and how to copyright. Okay, let's go to PU Social right now. Okay, PU Social. So this PU Social, then we want to type in the name, which is Super. Okay, um, Super Gold, okay, Super Gold FX, okay. So this Super Gold FX trading right now. So how do we copy Super Gold FX? This is simple. You click on copy, then you choose proportion to equity. When you're copying a trader, number one, before you know which one to choose, you need to understand which pairs is being traded and how is it being traded. If you have any kind of strategic trader that is trading multiple trades, that is having multiple trades in terms of having more than one having more than one trade at a time, then you'll be using proportion to equity because you want to relate your trade with that person's trade and at the same time with your own capital. So those are the things you need to note when you are copying someone. But when somebody is just having one trade, that means one pair being traded, then you can choose fixed size if and only if you know how to calculate the lot size for that trader. So that's that. So proportion to equity is what we'll be using. And another reason why you must use proportion to equity sometimes is when somebody is even trading one pair and that pair is being traded on Matigay formula or a step formula whereby probably the person is buying one, then the next buy is two, three, four, and so on, or probably one, two, four, eight, and 16, and so on. So you need to make sure you use proportion to equity here. You can use the fixed size because when the person is changing the sizes, your own will be fixed. And when yours is fixed, excuse me, when yours is fixed, this guy might take profits at this stage, and while this will be negative. So at the long run, you'll be in negative most of the time. So we choose proportion to equity. Now, talking about our strategy, mostly if you're trading between 1 and 500, sorry, between 10,000 and 50,000, you choose proportion as one averagely. It is recommended that you try and trade with 2,000 and above or 20,000 and above, which is probably $200 and above for some reasons. Okay, so when you choose that, you click this copy existing trade. No, you choose round up to minimum trade size, then you agree. Okay, then agree, confirm. Okay, so in trade, there are things you need to know. How do I mean? There are things you need to know. Number one is to choose the person that is cool to trade with. Number two is to try and copy and know how to copy that person. That was what I explained. But another thing is to know how to choose your max drawdown, which is the stop loss. So here we click on max drawdown. So here, soft stop level simply means when your trade goes to a particular price against you, go to a particular floating loss, you should accept your trade, your loss. But despite the fact accepting your loss, it should go to, that means it should move, it should rebuy when there is another option. So that is soft. but you don't need soft most of the time. You need hard so that when it stops, it stops. You have to come back and reactivate it to start. That is what you need because you might not be online. The trade might still be very, very bad. So if you do soft, it will accept and start trade again. Then it goes down again, it accepts and so on. So probably the best way is to choose hard. Now, hard now depends on what is the person you are copying? What's it trading? What's his own capital? And what is your own capital? That will determine then how much are you intending to lose. Look at this stage. This particular guy that we'll be copying is having about 21% stop loss. That is because he's trading three major pairs and each of the pair is on a 7% stop loss. 7% stop loss. So if one of the pairs goes deep to 7%, it will stop this particular trade. So if this one also goes 7% deep, it will stop. When this one goes 7% deep, it will stop. So, so this is just to make sure that when a particular pair is going astray, it can stop that and accept the loss without affecting others. In a situation whereby you have 21% and you want to set it at roll, that simply means one of the trade can disturb others. So, but here, sometimes it might just be one trade that is going to be on a bad shape for that day. And what happens? It simply means that that will just give you a 7% stop loss instead of giving you a total of 21%. You understand? So that's that. And like we said, most of the peers are on gold. The three peers right now are on gold. So and gold is volatile, so we need to be careful with gold. Just like last month, there was a almost a total destroyer in gold, whereby gold went outrageously down, and it affected almost everybody on the internet. So that is why this has been done. Now, the question now is, what's the trading capital here? I think this is on average of 50,000 times 7%. So this is 3,500. So 3,500 for 7% dip. That's 3,500. So what does this mean? It means that um, if this pair, if the three is going down, that is 21%. So that's 10,500. And if you're trading with $100, if you're trading with $100, that is also 10,000. So by the time this particular trader, master trader, is picking his own stop loss to be 21%, that is your own entire capital. So that's your own entire capital if you're trading $100. That's why we said it is advisable that you choose 700. What do we call it? It's advisable you choose $200 startup capital, but that doesn't mean you cannot manage your $100, which is a 10,000 cents, or you cannot manage your 200, which is also 20,000 cents. So here is the logic. The logic is simple. If you are on $100, that simply means you need to look at it like how much can you afford to play with, and at the same time, you know that you have to give that trade a breathing space down. So if you are on $100, which will be 10,000 cents, we advise everyone to put it on cents. So 10,000 cents. Then I'll be thinking you put in a minimum of $30. That is 3,000. So that simply means if one of the pair is going to be activated, It's just going to be closer to your own trade. But that's that. But to give it more room, you can put it on 50%. But that trade should be, your stop loss should be between 30 to 50%. So you need to look into that. And you need to also understand that you are the one that is trading on a low capital. So let's look at these. What is 21% is this? So this is almost half of your capital if you're using 200. If you're using 200, that is 20,000. And the stop loss is 10,000. And you might not want to, with 200, you might not just want to let $100 go. So it is still advisable if you put it at 30% for 200, probably 200 to 200%. So you want to check that on 20%. Let's put at it. Let's check 30% of 200. That's $60. So it is still advisable that if you're on 200, you can put it up or you can put it up at 30%. So anything above 200 can be on 30%. Anything above 200 can be on 30%. But if you feel like you want to adjust it to probably 20% or thereabout, but if you're on 500 and you put it to 20%, that simply means this will not even activate because the system will automatically activate for you. How do I mean? I mean, the system is putting in 21% while you are putting in 30%. So automatically you might not need to put it there. But just for your sake, you can just put it there 30%, 20% to 30% if you are on 500 and above. So that is it. Now, I just want to advise that because of the volatility of this pair, you might choose wisely. If you're not trading 200 and above, you might not want to add any other strategy. But if you're trading 200 and above and you understand the risk, like I just explained, now then you can add just one strategy in exception of if you're trading $500 and above. So another thing is this: if you feel like okay, the rate of profit is not as cool as what you want, just make sure you wait till you have 500. Make sure you wait till you have 500, which is 5,000 cents. So that simply means with this, you can just trade instead of proportion one. I mean, proportion to equity one, you can put it as two. But if you're putting it as two, that simply means you're saying that you want the system to work more and give you more. So with this, you need to add up your stop loss. Now you should understand that if you're putting in 20% stop loss on this proportion, that is like 10% of that is because it's playing twice. So if you're putting it on the 20% proportion, when the actual strategy is on 10%, your own will be activated. So you might just understand what you're doing also to see if you're cool with it. Okay, so I think that's all for now. Otherwise, you wait till you have 1,000 before you double the game, before you put it on 20, on proportion 2, or probably you make sure you have $750 and above before you put it on proportion 2, and also set up your stop loss to be probably 20 to 30%. Thank you very much. God bless you.